Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about The Haunting Hour Black Mask. This is a good episode. It's not like one of my favorites, but it's pretty good. It's a little spooky until you find out the end, and it's kind of like, okay, that's interesting, but like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's kind of like it feels like this episode kind of feels like it's a waste of time almost like a dream sequence. Like when you get to the end of the episode, oh, it was all a dream type thing, you know? That's why one reason why I haven't like reviewed Nightmare Inn, because Nightmare Inn is just like a confusing episode that's interesting and cool and everything, but it's just there's so many dream sequences and nightmares, and it's just like the nightmare stuff is more better than what actually you see on screen. But it's still like an interesting episode, like the Nightmare Inn episode. Couple of other ones like Fright. The Flight episode is pretty cool, but it's just kind of like, it's just like it's not that like scary kind of in my opinion, but it's interesting. The zombie episode, I don't like that one. That was the waste of a zombie episode in the Haunting Hour. Best Friends Forever is just hilarious. It's not even scary. It's just hilarious. Mascot, that's cool and freaky, especially towards the end. I don't know if I reviewed that one or not. Sick, I hate Sick. Sick was a stupid episode. I don't know why they put Sick in there. Let's see, the clown episode, that was dumb. The shark pool episode, that was dumb. The one about the greatest son, or like the best brother or something like that, that was dumb. That was just a retread of Perfect School from Goosebumps, but it wasn't as cool as that episode. So there are some episodes in the Haunting Hour first season that I am skipping because it's just like, whatever. Pumpkinheads was interesting, but it wasn't all that creepy or good. I'm trying to think. There's probably like another episode I think I skipped. I don't know. I think that's it. Those are the only ones I'm skipping from season 1. And also this treads over in a little bit into season 2. Yeah, they started it's weird because the DVDs, when they were releasing them, they started to air a couple of episodes in season 2, but then they stopped for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. They just stopped production of like the DVD. I guess they wasn't doing that great because the TV show at that time, when they went into the later seasons, just wasn't doing that great. So they stopped. But I'm glad they put out the first season. The first season is still by far the best. Because you don't really, like when you see people review The Haunting Hour, you don't really see them review other episodes from the other seasons and stuff. And there's a reason for that. So anyways, Black Mask. It's an okay episode. It's not like a great episode, but it's interesting to watch. So basically what it entails is it's a group of kids, young kids, Julie, Bill, and Rob. They're constantly looking at this old house that's been there for over 100 years and it's for sale now. And so they want to sneak in and look at all the cool stuff that's in the house. And there's a lot of cool stuff because the person used to be like one of those relic hunter type people. And so like there's stuff in there for like over 100 years. And there's some really cool stuff. And so like, the girl who plays Julie, God, I forget her name, but she was a little girl and she played the president's daughter in Cory in the House. And so it's her. So she's a little bit bigger than this, but now she's all grown up and everything. And so, like, the boy, Bill, I think it is, the skinnier one, I think he was in Degrassi something a couple of years back. And the boy who plays Rob, sadly, this is like the only thing he's ever done. And so, like, they're in the house and they're looking around and everything's like so cool and everything, you know. And they go down in like the basement area. And they see this black mask, which is in the shape of a person's face, but very creepy looking, with all these weird swirls on it. It looks like the Boggin Man's face, who was found in like a bog. No, not the Boggin Man, the Totem Man. The Totem Man, that's it. He was a man that was preserved in a bog. And yeah, he's creepy looking. It kind of looks like that, a little bit more demonic looking in the face. I don't know why they call it Black Mask. The mask not even black. It's green. I don't get it. So yeah. So Bill puts on like the mask and he starts to see these weird freaky images all in red. And the images are like flashing around really fast and moving. It's these two little kids in the house and they're dressed like they're back from 100 years ago. And they're just in the house playing around. And it freaks him out and they don't understand why. So the girl puts on the mask. And so like she's seeing like more images and it's more freaky stuff. So she's freaked out when she puts on the mask and she sees the kids walking around. They're playing like a game. And then so Rob wants to do it. When he does it, it's even worse. He sees this scary man with a hammer in his hand. All you see is like his teeth grinding and stuff. So he takes it off and he's really freaked out. And so they leave. And as soon as they leave, we see a man in the house with a hammer and we see his teeth. It's the same one that Rob saw. So when they go home, because Rob and Bill are like brothers and stuff, at least I think, because he went home to his house and stuff like that. So they're talking about what they saw, and they're still a little freaked out. And then so Bill takes out the mask out his book bag, and Rob's like, "You stole it?" He's all like, "I borrowed it," and everything. And then he said, "Like, don't you want to see what it was like 100 years ago in this house when they put the mask on?" He's like, "No," but he does it anyway. And nothing happens. He just sees regular stuff. And so they realize that the mask only works at that house. So the next day they go back and they sneak back in. They sneak back in through like a window and stuff. And so when they're there, they put on the mask again, and now they're starting to see what Rob saw when it comes to that man. And they see like a pillar crack on the top of like the ceiling and all this other stuff. And the kids look frightened and scared in the the vision now. And so like they're all upset. They're all like, "Oh no, them poor kids, that man's gonna hurt them and everything." And then they feel sad. And so like they start to hit, and they all like, they like those kids and everything, and they don't want nothing bad to happen to those kids that happened like 100 years ago. So then they see the man putting up a sign. It's the handyman. And it's the man from like the vision, Rob's vision. So they're all like, "How can that be? This man must have been like 100 years ago or something like that." So then they're all like, "Okay, look, we have to change the destiny of those kids. We have to save them." They're all like, "Well, how do we do that?" So they come up with dumb ways to try to save them. They wrote like a note. They put it in like the basement. And then when he put it in the basement, he put on the mask and you see the kids are still getting hurt. And so then he's all like, "I'm done with this freaky mess. Like, oh, I'm tired." And they're like, "No, we have to save the kids." And then so like they're like, "Well, how are we gonna do it?" So the girl comes up with a dumb idea of picking up the phone and trying to talk to them in the past. Rob has gotten to the point where he's like, "Screw this, I'm going home." So then the girl and the guy, they realize, wait a minute, when they put on the mask, certain things were arranged differently in the house. So they like, what if we arrange the basement to where it looked like the way it did in the mask? And then we put on the clothes of the kids that we saw in there, and we play the game that they're doing. They recreate what they saw, and like the thing, maybe the mask will somehow change like the past, and they can talk to the kids, something like that. So then they call up Rob, and then he shows up, and when he's there, he's looking at them, and he's all like, "Wait a minute, it's you. You were the kids in the mask." And it's weird because when you see the kids flashing around and running around in the mask, you don't see their faces really. Even when you do see their faces, you can't really see them that good. And yeah, it's Julie and it's Bill. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, where is this going? Are they from like 100 years ago and just don't know it? But then the guy comes in, the handyman. He's all like, "What are you kids doing in here?" And everything. "You're going to get hurt." Then, so when they hear all that, they run and hide like they did in the mask. But then the pillar breaks and Rob looks at it, and then he's looking at the boiler. The boiler's about to blow. So the man's like, "Y'all have to get out here. Y'all gonna get hurt." And then Rob's all like, "No, it's you who's gonna get hurt." Now he knows what that vision tried to show him. When the pillar breaks in the boiler room, because the boiler is about to blow, so he's trying to get the kids out. Then next thing you know, the pillar breaks and it's gonna crash down the man. So he tackles the man and gets him out of the way. The pillar falls down. the furnace blows and it's like all in that man's face and stuff. So he gets the kids on out of there. And then so the kids are all like, wait a minute, this mask doesn't show us the past. It showed us the future. It showed us like that man and them kids dying to like prevent that. Now, this don't make no sense. No, actually, it kind of does, because kind of like, okay, the kids were all around. Well, no, it doesn't make no sense, because kind of like, like, okay, so the kids, what they like to do is they like to go around the house and they like to sneak around. And when they found out the house was got sold, then they stopped doing that. So they would have stopped going down there. So what possessed them to keep going down there, play that game and everything else? So it's kind of like the mask showed them a vision to trick them, but then it tried to save them. Like I don't get it. So this is what I don't understand. Like it's just confusing. The mask showed them the future of the kids dying and that old man getting hurt and dying. But this would have never happened if they never put on the mask to begin with and saw them kids and then tried to save those kids and everything. Because it's kind of like, yeah, they snuck into the house, but who's to say they would have kept going back and forth? You know what I'm saying? And then once they saw the house was for sale and it got sold, then they probably would have stopped on their own. But then once they saw the vision of them kids getting hurt, that would possess them to go down there more and try to save them kids and reenact what they saw. So it's almost like the mask tricked them to get hurt, and then it tried to save them by showing them the future and save them and stuff. I don't get this episode. It's a weird, confusing episode. It's like it sounds good on paper, but it's just not executed right when you see it, you know? That wasn't that spooky. All right, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.